Good morning, everybody. It's 28th of October, and so we're nearing the end of October now. And I've called this Setting Boundaries. Now, it could also have been called Be Kind to Yourself Wednesday, but whatever. I've been getting a lot of emails and messages from people who are finding it very difficult, almost impossible to take care of and be kind to themselves. This isn't really unusual. It's usually because of past conditioning, and it's taught you that to look after yourself and be kind to yourself is selfish. Well, looking after yourself and taking care of yourself is actually a healthy kind of selfishness that you need to have. It allows you to go after what you seek in life. It helps you to fulfill what you are meant to do. It means setting boundaries. And to do that means you need to know how you communicate with yourself and others that accurately reflects who you are and what you're capable of. If you do everything for everyone else, then you'll burn yourself out. You'll not be able to help others or yourself. So don't wait until that happens. I know about this. I know about it all too well because I was someone and can still be someone who wanted to do everything for everyone else. I said yes to everything, everyone. I never said no, even if it put a strain on me. And I think my past conditioning was all about pleasing others. And I was told it was to be, I was selfish if I was looking after myself. Now, most of the time, possibly all of the time, I did feel good about doing that. So I was helping others and I felt good about it. But when you do this and you're then seen by everybody as the go-to person, then I think you've got to ask yourself, why do they keep saying, like, the phrase to me was, oh, go to Pat, she'll do it. And more often than not, I did do it. So do you recognise this? Are you someone that are you like this? Are you always saying, oh yes, I'll do that? And it might make you feel good, but not at the expense of your own emotional, psychological and mental health, even your physical health. So I want you really to start now. Stop saying yes to everything and everyone. But how do you do this? I'm going to give sort of some tips here, but remember, setting and maintaining boundaries are vital to healthy relationships with yourself and others. And of course, when you change, people may not or will not like it. But that's their problem because people are frightened of change. Even if it's for the better, they're frightened. So knowing how to set and keep boundaries is a skill. And most of us don't learn it. We're not taught this. And in fact, your past conditioning may or will have impacted on you so that you think it's selfish. So you need to forget that now. It's not selfish to look after yourself and be kind to yourself. Now, I think I said before watching this, if you looked at my podcast, The Power of the Mind, because the biggest tip is really you need to change your mindset here. So to change what might be the habit of a lifetime, it will be challenging and you can do it. You need to change your mindset, and you can do this with the help of my ABC core techniques. They are proven psychological techniques and very simple and easy to use. People often think, well, if something's so easy, how can they be effective? They are effective if you practice them and they become your good habit. So here are some tips to help you set boundaries and maintain, I've been talking so much this morning, actually. Got the hair done, you've maybe noticed that, but anyway, that made me feel better. But I was chatting away to the hairdresser who came to my house, socially distanced and everything. So, the tips for setting boundaries. Know your limits. Now, you can only set boundaries if you know what limits are and that these limits are, not just your physical limits, but your emotional, psychological, mental and spiritual limits, what you're capable of. So you need to identify how you feel. And When you're going to set boundaries, for example, think of a time when you were asked to do something and you agreed. How did you feel? You need to reflect back. How did you feel? Were you uncomfortable? Did you even feel resentment? Think again, sort of on a scale of maybe 1 to 10. How would you rate these feelings? If you rated them high on this scale of 1 to 10, then you probably really your feelings were that you were being taken advantage of and you weren't being appreciated. Did you do this because you wanted to please someone, or maybe just to be a good person? And if you didn't, then did you feel you were going to be guilty if you didn't do it? If you're feeling all of this, then you need to start thinking about the other people who are asking you to do things. Are they crossing your boundaries? So another tip is you need to know how to effectively communicate, because if you've been someone, and I've always found this difficult, that you've said yes to everything, it's very difficult, particularly if you've been saying yes to everything, to suddenly turn around and say, oh no, I'm not doing this, or, it's really difficult. So you need to know how to communicate effectively. And you might remember I did, I think in my previous videos, my effective communication or my effective listening model. Now, communicating how you feel to other people will vary depending on the other person and the situation. If it's someone who's got a similar way of communicating as you or similar views, then it'll be easier to communicate with them. But if it's someone maybe that's got a different personality from you, or maybe from a different cultural background, you need to probably be more direct, and that can be difficult. If you've got a close personal relationship with someone, then you need to take a direct approach as well. Because often in relationships, there should be a balance, but there's always maybe one that always goes the extra mile, always does things for the other. So if there's this close or loving relationship, then you shouldn't feel put upon. You shouldn't feel taken advantage of. That's not really love. That's not them caring for you. If this has been happening for a while, then you really need to start how you feel with your partner. Because if you have these feelings, then this is not really love. It's even in close relationships, you need to have a sense of self and have your own space. And really the most loving relationships are the ones where people give you your space and you give the other person the space. Now, you may recall I talked about the challenges during lockdown when people were in difficult relationships. And of course, lockdown highlighted, I think, a lot of problems, even for people who thought they'd a close relationship. Of course, if there's violence or any behaviour that's life-threatening, you really need to remove yourself from that situation. It's a vast topic, can't go into it in too much detail just now, but any life-threatening situation, you really have to get out. Now, the next tip is self-respect. When you set boundaries, you're actually showing self-respect. So you need to give yourself permission to set the boundaries, but also work towards maintaining them, which I think can be difficult if you've always been that go-to person. Stop feeling guilty or being afraid or doubt yourself. When you've got these feelings, if you start doubting yourself and you're feeling guilty, then it'll be very difficult to set boundaries and you'll just continue to be that yes person. I mean, I sometimes used to think I just had a great big mug on my forehead. And if you start sort of feeling that, then you really have to stop. So stop now. Now, self-awareness is really important. You've got to be self-aware. It's a huge topic. And I talk about self-awareness being really one of the first attributes that we all have. And I talk about this in my self-help books and my self-educational books. The latest ones, Resilience and Courage, my book, Resilience and Courage, The Key to Endurance. And that's available on my website. I talk about self-awareness. Now, you probably think, oh, I know myself. but do you really? You need to look at your whole belief system. Are they your beliefs, or are they the beliefs of others? You need to consider how you've been conditioned in the past. We've all been conditioned from birth to adulthood, and some of it, of course, if not all, can be and is damaging. So you need to start questioning yourself. This is important because if you're not aware of yourself, if you don't really know yourself, how can you possibly know others? I hear phrases from people like, oh, if only I met the right person, I'd be happy, and if only someone would come into my life and my life would be fulfilled. Well, this is actually not the right thing to say. You should, first of all, be happy with yourself and love yourself too. And then when you do that, others will love you and you'll actually attract love to you. So do you remember, I think I did it recently in a video, was it last week or the week before, where I did the one on loving yourself, and I asked people in that video to say, I love myself. Now this can be alien to so many people, probably again because most of us think this is silly, I've never been asked to do that. But why wait for someone else to tell you that they love you? So you're not saying it out loud, you're saying it in your head. And I read a book recently like Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. And it really does change your whole mindset. And I want the affirmation just now would be in your head, just say, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. And you feel better. Now, I can't stress enough that you need to consider your past when thinking about your present and how you will move forward in the future. And that is past conditioning. It's a huge topic again, but you've got to think, how were you raised? If you were a carer, perhaps you just learned to focus on others all the time. Just letting yourself get drained emotionally, psychologically, mentally, and even physically. And when this happens, you've got to the stage that ignoring your own needs just becomes the norm. And of course, you really will just burn yourself out. So you need to take a moment to think about what kind of people you surround yourself with. Do you have sort of healthy relationships? Is there an equal balance? So take a moment also to think about your whole overall environment, even the workplace. Does your workplace talk about work-life balance? Is it just talking about it, but they don't really practice it? You need to, another tip is be kind to yourself. Make this your priority. Start giving yourself permission to put yourself first. When you do this, you'll find it easier to set boundaries and you'll actually feel more positive about life in general. You'll have more energy. And when you feel this way, you'll find yourself being that good person, whether it's the partner, the co-worker, or a friend. And of course, when communicating anything with others, you've got to be assertive. This is not, being assertive is not, it's not enough to be assertive to create the boundaries. You've got to follow through by communicating what you want. So always be respectful. Be respectful when communicating, particularly if something is bothering you. And so many of these, like the problem pages of magazines and problem pages in general, people are saying, I'm always being asked to do this and I don't really want to do it, but I end up doing it. This is where they haven't set the boundaries and they don't know what to say. And I remember somebody actually said which I tended to do, I'm a bit better at it, but if you say no and then you put an excuse like, no, because I can't, actually no is really a full sentence. So you really shouldn't make excuses behind it. So as with any communication, of course, they say like, if you want to communicate effectively with the other person, And I've got my framework there, as I've talked about before. But it's almost impossible if the people involved aren't all reasonable, sensible adults. And sometimes there's really almost just no point. So you have to try and think about working things out together, if that's possible. And it won't be possible all of the time. And you may just need to take a step back and go, do you know what? This is someone that I can't communicate effectively, so I'm going to look after myself. Now, it's obviously not possible to set boundaries and maintain these and communicate with people who are not listening. So at that point, if it's a close relationship, or maybe you do want to resurrect things and make things better, you may need to seek professional help. It can be counselling, coaching, maybe even speaking with good friends or trusted family and friends who can, they can help you practice setting boundaries together. Sometimes close friends too and family, they can see that you're doing everything for others, and they can then help sort of say to you, look, you maybe need to create boundaries here and do it in an assertive and respectful way. You've got to be brave, of course. It takes courage to set boundaries, and it can be damaging. It can be damaging to you, daunting. It's so daunting because it's new to you, not damaging, but more daunting to you because you're starting to do something that you haven't done before. So you need to it's baby steps, just small steps at a time. Find something that's not threatening or making you feel guilty, and just say no. And don't add the excuses. Just remember, no is the full sentence. There's no need to add anything else. But above all, to do all of this, you really need to change your mindset. It's so different. It's a different approach, but you can. And it's when you're changing your mindset to do this, you can do it with the simple ABCs and the other techniques. They're effective as well. So when you're doing the ABC and you're changing your mindset, you will cope better with your own emotions and your feelings, and you're able to make better choices and decisions. You learn to use your intuition and your gut instincts. So there's tips from earlier videos, of course, these always apply. Praise yourself. Remember to praise yourself when you do something. So when you give that first no response, just say, wow, that was good. Put that even on your inspiration board or your achievement board. I hope you've all got one of these, and commit yourself to doing this, because you're then committing to sort of your life and what you want to achieve. When you do that, you can then have more energy and time to help others. Focus on things that you can control. Let go of situations that you can't. We're so focused sometimes on trying to change situations, trying to change other people. Remember, you can't change other people. You might go into this, I wish they didn't keep asking me, I wish I could change that person. Why do they always come to me? You can't change other people. You can only change you. And of course, as I said before, if they don't like the new you, and often they won't, that's their problem, because they're frightened. Even when if you're changing for the better, people don't even like it because they've got used to you and they're afraid of the change, even if the change is beneficial to you. Put your time and energy into things that you can control. When you worry about things that you can't control, you just start to feel helpless and powerless to do anything. And of course, when you're using my ABC and changing your mindset with these affirmations, who was the Silence of the Alarm chap? His name's gone, he escaped me this morning, but he actually said, believe, believe, believe. Even if you don't, just believe. And when you've got a strong sense of self, you've got the courage and strength to move forward with confidence, and you will set boundaries. And you will feel better about yourself. And remember, above all, you and you alone are responsible for your decisions and choices. And of course, you're accountable for for your actions and the consequences of your actions. I've talked about that often, I think, in previous videos. So many people say, I've got a right to do this, I've got a right to do that. And we often forget that, yes, we might have rights, but with these come responsibilities and obligations, and that just seems to be forgotten about. So for today's affirmation, I think your affirmation, I hope you write these down or you get them implanted in your head, that you repeat them often. I would say today's affirmation, using the 3 P's, remember the I for personal, the positive noun, and the present tense verb. So it could be, I set boundaries, or I am kind to myself, I take care of myself, and the ultimate, I love myself. And you can repeat these, write them down on a wee card, have it near. So in fact, you could carry one in your wallet, and if people ask you something, just remind yourself, you know, I'm setting boundaries, I'm going to say no. And you will get there. I get there, not all the time, we're all human, but it makes life much easier and you feel better about yourself. And of course, B for breathing. If you're getting worked up with anybody and you're starting to get these feelings of guilt and what should you do, take a step back with 3 deep breaths. A deep breath from the diaphragm when you're breathing in through your nose and then exhaling, it gives you energy, but you actually feel relaxed and calm. Now today's the creative imagery that I'm going to do is a safe place. Now I've got a lovely mindfulness on this, which has got music, it's got lovely scenery, it's got everything, it's absolutely fabulous. But and you can get that on my website. But today there's no music, just my voice. But when you do a safe place, when I'm doing this, I think of bringing yourself confidence. It's you're feeling safe, it reduces stress, and you really. So if we just want to put our feet on the ground just now on the carpet, we're not outside, the sun's shining here, which is lovely. But you can always bring sunshine into your mind as well. So if you put your feet on the ground, on the carpet, and just straighten your back, having a straight back, it gives you that kind of confident feel, but not stiff. You have to be fairly relaxed. So I want you to close your eyes and just listen to my voice. And I want you to take a deep breath in through the nose, hold, and then exhale. This meditation is just going to give you a little time out for yourself. Imagine yourself in a place that you like to be. This can be anywhere. Somewhere you like to go, to dream, or just to sit. Imagine your surroundings. All around you is quiet. You feel safe. This is your place. No one can enter unless you want them to. You feel comfortable. This quiet place makes you feel safe. You have no fears when you are there. This is your safe place. Remember this safe place. You can go there anytime, that you need or want. You are no longer stressed. You feel calm. You feel safe. You are no longer anxious. You feel confident and safe. Now just take another deep breath in, hold, and then exhale. Now you can open your eyes and yawn or stretch just to relax yourself, shake your shoulders and just feel good. And you can maybe end with just saying that I feel safe, I am confident, I can set boundaries, but most of all I'm kind to myself. I take care of myself. And if you can manage it, I love myself. And keep saying that in your head. I've been doing this since I kind of got this, love yourself like your life depends on it. It really does work. And particularly if there are difficult situations, and there are many just now. But I hope you've enjoyed that. And of course, I'll put it up on YouTube and you can go back to things time and again. I've got my Mind Circles podcast now. So I'm hoping I know people are listening into that and subscribing to it. And of course, please, if you can, support me. There's a PayPal click button and it's only £4 a month. And you get all the well-being tips, and I'll be trying to promote other things as well. But thank you again for listening this morning. Now, just going to get where's my wee clicky pen? No, can't find it. I was going to just wave. Maybe I can do that. Do we wave? Wave and wave. I don't know what all that means, but anyway, I hope you've enjoyed listening today, and I'll be back next Wednesday. If you want any particular topic, then please message me on Facebook or my email, pat@mindcircles.co.uk. And thanks so much to everybody. Remember, a smile costs you nothing, and laughter is the best medicine. And virtual hugs to everybody. Have a fabulous day. Bye.